In this method, you're just simply controlling the property rather than having to come up with all of the cash, all of the financing, whatever it may be, to own the property long term.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually still even have a handful of long-term rental properties, and we'll continue to grow that side of our business. Mostly my wife handles that side, so I don't have to deal with tenants, I deal with guests. And there's a lot of ways to get into short-term rentals especially, and there's pros and cons to all of them. I'm not going to say one's better than the other. I've done lease arbitrage in my business because I don't ever want to have to deal with maintenance. So I exclusively work with apartment complexes where they have a really good maintenance staff on hand that lives on site and can handle any issue that comes up, even if it's in the middle of the night. So I never have to be the one who's, hurrying to fix that. So that's the thing that I've really loved about it, and the reason why I stick with, if I'm going to do short-term rentals, I use lease arbitrage to acquire those properties, and anything that we purchase is just going to be a normal long-term rental.
I love what you said in regards to, you don't want to be the one getting up, and what I'm looking into is you don't want to be the one getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go fix somebody's toilet because they clogged it, right?
Yeah.
Or like you want to have somebody that's on site ready to respond to those kinds of emergencies. And I think a lot of people won't get into real estate investing at all because they're afraid of, I don't want to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning, or, how did you make that decision? What kind of bridged that gap, and what motivated you to go this direction?
Yeah, you're right. That's one of the most common things that I hear when people are like, oh, you rent properties, you're a landlord, you own properties, you have tenants. And they're like, oh, I could never do that. I don't want to be a landlord. Owning property doesn't mean you have to be a landlord. Those are two very separate things. But in the short-term rental space, I just decided that I want to be able to build a business that's scalable, that really requires the bare minimum amount of employee effort on my part. So I don't want to have to be the person doing that. I don't want to have to hire teams of people to do that. I'm using systems that are already in place, already existing, where I don't have to pay a dime extra when something like this happens. I don't even have to pay someone hourly to go fix the water heater, and I don't have to be the one getting up in the middle of the night to do it myself. There's somebody who's contractually obligated to just do it for free for me because that's part of the service they're providing by me renting and leasing. And that makes it so that my costs are very fixed, very standard. I know what to expect. I don't have surprise maintenance items coming up, and that just helps me build a better business.
Yeah, fascinating. So what are you implementing into your business that allows for this to be a scalable model?
Oh, systems. Lots and lots of systems. The amount of systems that I have in place and the amount of time I spend every week just optimizing and looking for new systems and trying to build better ways to automate things. There's just so many things that I've done that handle as much as possible automatically in the background. There's also a few guiding principles that determine how I run my business, and some of those are things like tell guests what they need to know before they ever think they need to know it. If they're the ones realizing, oh, I need to know this piece of information, then they're going to come ask you for it, and that's going to require some type of input. But if you've already told them that piece of information before they can think of needing that piece of information, then the questions never arise, or at least you can drastically mitigate how much those questions arise.
Wow, I love that.